Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Greetings, Sal. How you doing? Let me see if I can do this. No big. There you go. All right. Let me do that. Regular. There we go. Hey there, hey Sal. Oh shit. Hey there, hey. How you doing? Little ghost. Yep. Yep. Oh, wait a minute. I think Mr. Stevens is shadow banned. So let me, because I'm gonna put the link down here because it's the only way I know if he's here. All right. All right, there you go. Sal, you working? You at home? Let me turn my phone on so I could. Oh, okay. Nice. Oh, shit. Yeah, I was off today too, but baby, today wore me the fuck out. Today, yep, yep. I knew it.
Hello.
Hello, my darling. You know what? We gotta. I wish I was more YouTube savvy so I could see how to get my peoples out of the shadow ban. Because I sure did. I said, let me put this down because that's the only way I know that Mr. Stevens is here. How you doing, sir?
I'm fine.
Baby, let me say this. I'll be fine. Oh, wait, where are you at?
Oh,
There you
oh,
go.
here.
You're
Yeah, I
good.
got. Yeah, last night I took some edibles and it helped me to go to sleep and I relaxed and I have more energy now coming out of it. So I feel great. And it was something that I found so weird about what you said when we last spoke. You said I'm going to have a good week. Ooh, the conviction I felt with that. I was like, "Woo." And I think it's starting to come true too.
See, I'm gonna tell you something. Before I got on, before I got on, I got my own, my own little deck, the shit that I write and stuff like that. And there was two things that came to me today, for my cards. Um, and this one is ask yourself, does this support the life I'm trying to create? And
Mm,
then here was one. It said, that disrespect was no accident.
mm.
Yeah, that ain't got nothing to do with you. The thing is that I'm glad that came through because I'm gonna tell you something. I have totally I have felt offline for several weeks now.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I know I've said that before. I have said that before. But today was that day that really, really pushed me over the edge. And
Mhm.
if I can't do readings, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to talk about my experiences, what I got from it, and maybe it can help someone else. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that my little wish for you to have a good week was coming through. I've not had a bad week. Let me just say that. I've not had a bad week, but I'm spent. I'm at capacity. I'm
Yeah,
at
and and I wanted to tell you one more good thing. I was talking to my coworker about your show, whatever, and I was telling my coworker about how you said when somebody disrespects you and you say, "Are you good? You good?" He bust out laughing.
You good?
He he said he said that will definitely put some anxiety in him. Like, "Oh, who you talking to?"
Well, I'm good for that one too. I'm good for that one too. But Miss Steven, as I'm getting older, it's like, when you settle into yourself with all the life experiences that you've got, like you come to a point where it is like you really cross a bridge where you're going to extend that energy.
Mhm. Yep.
That so that you good, you okay. That right there is like I'm warming up for the pitch, and when it comes to my turn, don't be surprised if I hit you upside the head with a bat. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you warning. I'm trying to give you warning. But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I
Alright.
was yeah, I was over here to I put no content out today. Um there was a doctor's appointment that opened up, and I had to take it. I didn't go to work. I had to grab that doctor's appointment because the way things are, I wouldn't have been able to see this man until July, and I'm like, oh, no, 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 no.
Oh, yeah,
But
you better take it.
oh, right. And so that was, so that's what that, and so, that's why I didn't have any content. When I don't have content, I try to go live, and I give you all an explanation and stuff like that.
Oh,
And I'll
okay.
tell you something, I know I've said it before, but I mean, this little content creation stuff, this ain't no joke. It's a job. It's a job that you ain't, it's a job that at this point it don't pay. And I really can't say that because through this channel, um I've been getting people, to read for, but like I said, like right now I've been offline, so that money's on the table. But I just
Okay.
want to come over here and and pontificate on what was going down and what I learned from today. So
Oh, okay. Alright, well, I can't wait for the show to see what you talk about.
all right, baby. Thank you, sweetheart. And,
Alright.
and Mr. Stevens, as always thank you so much for coming up and like being so open and sharing your experiences, honey. Because when you do that,
Okay.
people the opportunity to share their experiences as well. So I appreciate you, love.
Okay,
So
bye.
I'll see you in a bit. All right. Yeah, y'all. Look at them. Look at them eyes. Yep. No any resemblance between me and her is totally coincidental. Give me this. Let me see. All right. Let me see something. Wade. Hi, Wade. Hi, Wade. Thank you for stopping by, love. Thank you, my darling. All right. Um, all right, let me get into it, y'all. But before I go, let me just say this. Tomorrow the moon is in Cancer, and the moon is Cancer's domicile. So watch yourselves. Your intuition is going to be very high, but so is your insecurity. So just I'll break all that down tomorrow. Hopefully I can record tomorrow. But today really put me through my paces, and it just this question kept running through my mind, and that is, what do you do when you've done everything you can and it still isn't enough? Have you all ever reached that point where you just didn't have anything left? Not emotionally, not mentally, not physically. And there you are, just empty, and life is still asking you for more. Anybody ever felt like they were running on empty, but life didn't get that memo? And it just keeps moving, and it keeps asking, and it keeps adding, and it keeps on demanding. Today was very definitely a 10 of wands. A 10 of wands day. Let me get them. Where's my media assets? Here we go. There we go. Today was definitely a 10 of wands day. And when you get those days What happens when you reach your limit and nothing in your life is slowing down? That's the space that nobody really prepares any of us for. You reach your capacity, and no one ever taught us what to do when there's nothing left to give. Today was one of those days. Um, I went to the doctor. I had an appointment that just came out of nowhere, and I had to seize it. Otherwise, I was not going to be able to see this doctor until July. And I had to let go of a day of work. And I went there, and I'm thinking that I can get an issue resolved. And just for the record, y'all, I'm gonna be fine. I'm fine. But you still you gotta see a doctor. And I thought, like, okay, I'm gonna be able to I was gonna be able to handle this shit. And then insurance comes up, and that is one frustration. You're like, okay, I left a day of work to deal with this. They could have told me this before I came, all that shit, and again, you go, and you're okay well, you're not really okay with letting a day of work go by, because if you don't work, you don't get paid, but you seize this moment, and you find out that there's more hurdles to go through, with this fucking insurance. And then on top of that, I'm still carrying, this ongoing situation that's already been taking a lot from me emotionally. And then, y'all, out of nowhere, I get a message from my mother, who's on vacation. And she tells me that my stepfather had a stroke while they were on vacation. The update, he's fine. They to the degree they caught it in time, he's okay. So when I talk when oh Lord, so when I talk about capacity tonight, I'm not speaking from a place of theory. I'm in it right now. And again, I'm gonna put it back up there. Ten of Wands moment. Were you overloaded? Were you carrying too much at once? Emotional and physical weight is stacking on you beyond your capacity. And then while you still doing that shit, out of nowhere, a sudden disruption, life events, collapsing, what little bandwidth you had left, and it forces you into an immediate, immediate reality check. Capacity 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 isn't just energy. Capacity is it's emotional tolerance. It is mental processing. It is spiritual resilience and physical ability. Life will keep demanding from you based on what you've handled before, not what you have the capacity for right now. Life and circumstances don't check your capacity. They just keep adding. And life doesn't ask you if you got room. It just keeps placing more on you. What you survived before becomes the expectation, even when you don't have space to carry it now. Today made it really clear for me, because life didn't ask me if I had room. It just added more. And that right there, that's strength. Capacity is internal regulation. It's not forced or endurance alone. And then right here, we got Her Majesty, the Queen of Cups. for the emotional bandwidth and sensitivity reaching like a tipping point, reaching a saturation point. Sometimes, sometimes life will shrink your capacity on purpose. And that is not to punish you. That is to realign you. Because there are things that we've been carrying. There are things that we have been carrying that were never sustainable to begin with. And when everything hit me today, my body, my family, my responsibilities, it forced me to see what I can actually hold and what I've been forcing myself to hold. And when you are in that position, your nervous system will say, I can't hold on to this. And your spirit will say, you were never meant to. And that right there, terabytes, that's the hangman. That's the forced pause. That is the perspective shift, the surrender through stillness. And then you got to come up with a judgment. Then you got to do judgment, the awakening, the realization, and seeing what has to be released. But what happens when you keep pushing anyway? So I want to be real honest about what happens when we ignore that. When you start resenting the people that you love, when your decisions get sloppy because you are tired, and you slowly start to abandon yourself, trying to keep everything else going. What I learned today was that overfunctioning is just self-abandonment dressed up like strength. And days like today, they expose real quick that there's no room left to pretend that you're okay. And that right there, that's what is that? That's the Nine of Wands energy. Exhaustion, resilience at a breaking point. Yep. So after I got home, I gave myself a good cry because, like, with everything that was going on, like especially with my parents being so far away because they're on vacation, I felt very helpless, like I don't know what to do. And after I let that go, you know, I picked myself up and and I just started writing things down. And it was like, what could I have done to prevent myself from getting to this point right now? Because I'm telling you right now, y'all, I'm tired. I'm weary. And so right now, if you have a little bandwidth left, like if you're going through some shit right now, and you can feel it, you can feel like you at the end of that rope. Here's what I wish somebody would have said to me. And that is simply, you don't have to quit what you're doing. Just reduce it. What can you do at 60% instead of 100%? Um, Delay your decisions. Not everything needs an answer right now. Not everything needs an answer tonight. You can revisit this tomorrow. That this, I'll revisit it tomorrow. That's a strategy. That is not avoidance. I know a reason that got me to where I'm at was because I didn't have any boundaries. And that is one thing, some micro boundaries, phrases like no, 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 not today, or saying I can't hold that right now. I'm sorry, I ain't got the bandwidth for that right now. And another thing, here's a big one for me, and that is, I don't respect my body. I will wake up, I will brush my teeth, I will do what I gotta do. And the most nutritional thing that I'll do in the morning is some coffee. And you got to take care of yourself. You got to eat something, you got to drink some water, you got to sit down, you got to take care of your body. Because like I said, today showed me something. And that when your body is overwhelmed, your mind cannot lead when your body is overwhelmed. And then right there, that's two of pentacles. Managing your limited resources and trying to stabilize, your shifting priorities. And then with all of that, we got, the temperance, you know, um, that is, moderation, balance, slowing it down to restore your equilibrium. Now, if you were like me today, where you had no bandwidth, this is the shit that people do not tell you. This is the part that people do not say out loud. And that is stop performing. No explaining, no over justifying. If all you did today was survive what hit you, that's a win. That shit counts. If it helps you, go nonverbal if you have to. You do not owe access to people when you are at zero. You got to protect your nervous system like it's sacred. Silence, stillness, pull it back. Accept that temporary collapse. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is shut it all down and let yourself be carried for a minute. And I'm saying that to myself too, not just to you all. I'm saying this to me too. That right there, that is the Four of Swords energy. Rest, shut it down. Go back into recovery mode. And if you have to, go hermit. Withdraw, isolation for your inner restoration and your protection. Here's the thing that people do not tell you. And that is that running out of capacity, that's not failure, that's revelation. It shows you what's too heavy. It shows you what is not yours to carry. It shows you what cannot come with you into your next season. And today it revealed a lot to me today. This was right here, death. Endings, release, the transformation, through letting go. But that's not all it left me. It left me with like the Ace of Cups, emotional renewal, a space opening for a new flow. It today taught me, I honor my limits as sacred intelligence. I release what I cannot carry. I trust what is not meant for me. I trust what is meant for me is going to meet me where I'm at and not where I am depleted. And when we talk about that healing, that's the star card right there. Restoration and the hope after the depletion. So when you all are at this point, when you get to this point, you've got to ask yourselves a question. Um, a correct assessment of your problem is going to give you a direct answer. And the quality of your life is going to be based on the quality of your questions. And this is it. And this is the question. Be honest with yourself. Are you overwhelmed or are you at full capacity? Because at the end of the day, you don't need to become stronger to hold more. You might just need to let some shit go. You just might need to hold less. And if today took you to your limit, that doesn't mean that you were breaking. It meant something in your life is finally beginning to show. It means that something in your life is finally being shown for what it really is. And that right there, y'all, that is 10 of swords energy right there. The absolute limit. Mental and emotional exhaustion. And when you rejuvenate, and you come back to who you are and you get back online, then you come back to the full. A reset, a new beginning, stepping forward without what broke you. Today was a rough day for me. Today was a rough day for me. I didn't want it. I didn't ask for it, and I had no idea, that I was carrying so much, because, I don't need help. I'm good. I do, and that is a flaw for me. I don't know how to ask for help, but I will definitely, I will tell you this right now. I tell you this right now, I definitely will be starting right now. And you know what? No one owes anybody any kind of assistance. You walking out this earth the same way you came in by yourself. But at the end of the day, I would like to think that we are all just walking each other back home. And for those people that hear your call, God bless them. For those that do not answer you, for those that cannot, help you, they're going through shit. They're going through shit themselves. We all got to be gentle with each other. So, um, that's today was a day, and I did not put down any content. And like I said, if I don't put up content, I want to come back up here and I want to help. I owe you guys something, and so this was me just trying to fulfill, my part of this para-social relationship. You guys show up for me, and to the best of my ability, I'm showing up for you all. And it may not be glamorous, and it's not as fully engaged as I was like to, but it is authentically where I'm at. And that's all I can do for you all, is just offer you my authenticity. So, um with that being said, anybody want to say anything? Anybody want to come up? Because if not, I'm going to take several gummies and pretend this day never happened, and go to sleep and wake up and pray that tomorrow's a little better than what today was. Nope. Okay. So wait a minute. And uh greetings, Miss Yvette. So with that being said, Sal, thank you. Thank you, Sal. Thank you, Sal. Wade, thank you for stopping by. Wade, and Mr. Stevens, I know you shadow banned somehow or another, but thank you for stopping on by. Please don't forget to hit the like and share the video. Share the video. Let's get some motion for this channel. And with that being said, y'all, I hope I gave you guys something that you can hold on to in in the times that shit really hits the fan. I intend to, Miss Yvette. I fully intend to. Thank you, my love. You have a good night too, baby. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. You stay blessed. Remember, stay on your assignment. Your assignment is your alignment. And, I forgot to ask, the universe to show me how good it could be. This is where this is where I'm at right now. Like I said, I mean, I throw down these cards, I'll come out here and I'll say what I have to say. It doesn't mean that I'm perfect. I fuck up shit too. So there you go. All right, y'all. Y'all stay blessed. And I love you back, Wade. Thank you, baby. All right, darling. Y'all stay blessed. Thank you for stopping by.